last December, I was in the Kurdish area of Iraq. I was in Erbil, Kirkuk, that whole area, and the people were excited. There was a little danger involved, but they were excited because they thought they'd turned the corner and the country was starting to build up, and I mean the area, and they loved Americans, and they were glad Saddam was gone. Within like days or weeks, all of a sudden it completely changed, and now Kurdistan, that whole area, that's where ISIS is. Can we help the Kurds?
Well, it's not just a question of can we help the Kurds, but can the Kurds help the world? Because many of us are depending on them, along with others in the Middle East, to come together to fight ISIS. We need to support them, train them, arm them, and provide the intelligence as well as the air power to make sure that they're successful.
So are the Kurds the key to defeating ISIS? And Ali, the ISIS took over Fallujah in January, Mosul in the summer, early summer.
Look, the Kurds are key to northern Iraq because the Kurds are fighting for Kurdistan. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. And we should be helping them. And we should have helped them a long time ago. But if you're talking about, as many have said, squeezing the balloon and letting them all flee back into Syria, the Kurds are not going to fight that fight for us. Unfortunately, the folks on the ground right now say it's going to take 6 to 12 months to train, equip, vet, and then send back into the field the so-called Free Syrian Army that's going to number 5,000 people. By the time they get back from being trained in Saudi Arabia, you'll probably have 45,000 to 50,000 ISIS fighters, and they're going to have to fight a two-front war. The Free Syrian Army against Assad and against ISIS. It's a formula for disaster.
And with the numbers that Ali just named, it's 15,000 more than they have now of ISIS, with 5,000 more Iraqis trained or Kurds to train.
Absolutely. One equation is that if we don't do some strategic action against ISIS now, in the next few weeks, ISIS is going to double, because this is going very fast, faster than before. They were 15,000, they doubled to 30,000, and they're not recruiting anymore. They're drafting people. You're going to see tens of thousands of young men asked to join ISIS in Mosul and Raqqa and elsewhere.
Whenever you look at a solution to defeating ISIS, each thing you talk about is necessary but not sufficient, right? So you talk about, arming the Kurds. Yes, that's one part of it. That's coming at one angle. You got to come at them in their pockets, hit them with their pockets. They're so rich, they can always grow and grow and grow. You have to hit them in their cyber capabilities so they can't radicalize, so that they can't recruit. And then term, you have to look at this as an ideological threat. They keep evolving because their ideology still exists. So we have to stop looking at it as a reactionary type of solution.
What's their motive to strike here now?
Why not?
In the U.S. No, I'm just asking. I mean, there's all this concentration in this part of the world, and they say they want the caliphate, but then we've got radicalized Americans, and we've had terrorism here. So if
we pressure them, they're going to try to deter us. If we don't strike full-fledged, they're going to do a little nibbling. But if we do, then they're going to, every cell they have, they're going to order them to strike.
And if we do nothing?
If we do nothing, they would do nothing, but they would continue in the Middle East. And if they continue in the Middle East, they're going to get to a situation, we're going to have a little Iran, a Sunni Iran.
Be unstoppable. And the thing to do now is to use that air power to go after high-value targets, to go after the logistics support bases, their training centers in Raqqa and elsewhere. And yes, but you don't use air power for that. The problem with air power alone, and that's all we've got right now, is that no one ever captured a piece of ground, a terrorist, or set a prisoner free with air power alone. It takes rough men with rifles on the ground.
You're going to imagine it as a pool. And some people around that pool have to go in. Some other people should not go in. Assad regime should not go in. He will make it into a Alawi Sunni. Iran should not go in. They will make it into a sectarian. Everybody else is important. Kurds in Iraq, Kurds in Syria under some conditions, but also the Sunni moderates in both countries.
Ali, where are we going to train these fighters?
Well, theoretically, they're going to be trained in Saudi Arabia. So that means we've got to get them out of Syria into perhaps Turkey or Jordan, fly them down to Saudi Arabia, put U.S. Special Forces on the ground down there, and train them for somewhere between 6 and 12 months after they've been vetted. Mission impossible.
Ali, Lisa, Waleed, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us tonight. If you want to know more about ISIS and how the U.S. is planning to defeat them, just go to GretaWire.com. Good night.